the Henrico Citizen, publisher, journalist, publisher, just a man about news. Talk a little bit about, we hear a lot of terms flying around these days, fake news, and all of those things. From a journalistic standpoint, talk a little bit about how you see things and what that means.
Well, I was reading a little piece in I think the New York Times yesterday about a group that has put together in very short order something like several hundred sort of fly-by-night quote-unquote newspapers or websites around the country, and they've done so under the guise of being, fair, accurate news, but really they're run by political operatives or people who slant one way or the other, who are trying to get try to make their perspective, try to highlight their perspective more than the other perspective. And I think that's a big problem in the world of journalism, whether it's as overt as that or whether it's just, you turn on the nightly news and you're not sure if you're listening to opinion or you're listening to real journalism. And so that's something that I think all of us in the industry are have to acknowledge as out there. Because the lines have become very blurred. I think at our level, a local level, we don't have to deal with that quite as much, but we still hear from people who have almost been indoctrinated by that viewpoint to think, all news that I don't agree with is fake, essentially. It's a real problem. It's a real problem, and we're up against it on a constant basis. And it didn't used to be like that, obviously. And so, from my perspective, all that I can try to do, all that we try to do is give people the fair coverage of the news. I always say, it's more important to be fair, because if you are fair, then you're inherently being accurate. You can be accurate, but be unfair, and that's not a good thing. So, we've been doing this 19 years. I think the people who read us hopefully understand that we've been here. And that they can trust us.
So, for people who are across the board, so if you partake of MSNBC, nothing that the current administration can do is correct. Donald Trump is the worst president in history. If you go to Fox, then everything that the current administration is doing is great, and Donald Trump is the best ever. CNN calls themselves fair, right down the middle. Is it possible for a journalistic organization to be unbalanced, unbiased, or is there always going to be a slant there?
Yeah, I think in the true sense of the word, it's impossible to be unbiased because, of course, every time you're reporting anything, you're also not reporting something else. So I can't.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it. I'd never. Al's shaking his head right there because he hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's but I don't think that indicates necessarily an intent to deceive somebody. But if I go to a board of supervisors meeting in Henrico, it's a 3-hour meeting maybe. There's no way that I can report about every single thing that happened. If I did that, I'd be a court reporter, not a journalist. So I'm making some decision about